Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. We'll reconvene the Ross Board of Education. It's September 20th, 23, Ross Board of Education regular meeting. Please note that Mrs. Hayes is here for attendance.
Got it.
Okay, if we could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Dr. Kunkel, could we review the agenda, please?
Yes, sir. Under the superintendent section, we have a Pepsi contract to renew. There's also a health service agreement. This is the contract with Marathon Health, which will be the new free, unquote, clinic that our staff will be able to attend. Those are the two highlights for my section. And Mr. Castater, you want to highlight your section?
Yeah, we have a couple things of note. Our normal monthly reports for investments and cash summary. We also, as Dr. Conkle mentioned during the work session, we have the proposal for Garland Roofing, which will be the pretty major roof repair at the middle school. We also tonight have the permanent appropriations for fiscal 24 and our amended certificate. If you remember back in June, we approved temporary appropriations for this year and a temporary certificate. This is essentially our quote unquote budget for the year. The amount of money we project we're going to bring in with our carryover that we have available to run the district for the year. So we'll be approving those and then sending those off to the county auditor.
Okay. Would anybody like to isolate any of the items in the superintendent reports and recommendation, or isolate anything in the treasurer's report and recommendations? I kind of want to isolate that Pepsi contract because I like Diet Coke so much, but probably wouldn't look good if I have to sign it, right? Okay, we'll move on. So we'll go to number 5 on the agenda, which is the review, approval, and correction of the minutes of August 17th. Oh, before we do that, let's
we need to
go
vote
back.
to
Let's get a
approve the
first
agenda.
to approve the agenda. Do we get a first to approve the
Motion.
agenda? Mr. Chanel? Second?
Second.
Mrs. Hayes? Mr. Castor, could you call the roll?
Mr. Chanel?
Yes.
Mrs. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Kleinfelder?
Yes.
Mrs. Webb?
Yes.
Mr. Van Winkle?
Yes. Now let's move on to number 5. Can we have a first to approve the minutes of August 17th?
Motion.
Mr. Chanel, can we have a second? I will second it.
Oh,
Mr. Castain, could you please call the roll?
Mr. Chanel?
Yes.
Mr. Van Winkle?
Yes.
Mrs. Webb?
yes.
Mr. Kleinfelder?
Yes.
Mrs. Hayes?
I have to abstain.
Abstain? Yep. Okay, we'll move on to 7. There's no really legislative report. They're not even in right now, right? But they are, no.
Well,
No legislative report? Okay. Butler Tech report?
Butler Tech met last night. John Graff and his staff went over the strategic goals and plannings and review of last year, how they did against their goals, and then upcoming this year. The thing that still sticks out to me is they're turning away about 1,800 students. The interest is still very high, even in satellite areas. They can't accommodate everybody. They got plans to add another additional 600 spots. They're going to start senior-only firefighting 1 and 2, and a senior welding, and they're also got welding that kids can take at adult ed in the evenings if they so desire. So they're trying to make accommodation for that, but their popularity is gaining, probably because of the high cost of college, and they're still struggling to accommodate it. Other than that, the other interesting fact was, I don't know if Robin's aware of it, the Ohio National Guard has a cybersecurity division that they'll do a threat assessment on your network and system for free. Come in and check, how secure we are or how secure we're not. And I thought that was kind of an interesting concept. And I think they discussed that. Didn't you guys have a tech meeting in the spring? And they're gonna have another one coming up. They're trying to get all the tech coordinators together,
Yeah.
share information. So I thought that was interesting and a good thing. So that's all I have from Butler Tech.
Because I think they covered this at that meeting last night, if I remember correctly. Is the success of the off Friday, is that still, I mean, they had the data to prove
They
how,
had some data about it, but I think this week, this Friday's the first one of this year.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
They still have
what
to
is it
report, though. Kids are
Fifth day
still,
experience.
kids are
Fifth day
required to
experience.
report.
The
The
fifth day
data from
experience.
last year, they had over 2,800 activities that were planned
they're-
that
yeah.
kids could participate in. They averaged probably about 1,200 students out of the 1,600 coming in and taking part in stuff. You know, and that's a pretty high number when you think a kid could stay home and do nothing, and they would come in and get involved stuff. They did driver's ed. You know, if you were a cosmetology student and wanted to learn how to weld, for a simple weld, you could go down and they would teach you how to do a simple bead weld or something. I mean, there were all kinds of activities, sign up, college visits. They took kids on, they did 9 or 10 college tours where they took kids to Ohio State,
They
Kent
bust
State,
them, I think, right? Yeah.
busing them. So, you know, it's had some good success. This year it's starting out again. They're getting about 5 schools a year coming in and looking at what they're doing and
Yeah.
seeing if they can try and replicate it.
Who's going to be the first school,
Regular school,
regular school to do it?
somebody with a lot of money.
Yeah,
Probably
you-
Indian Hill or
Yeah,
Sycamore or somebody.
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty expensive proposition, but,
I mean, teachers still report on that Friday, right?
right.
Awesome. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Kleinfelder? For Butler Tech? Nope. Thank you very much. Mr. Castaner, do we have any public participations?
I
No?
did not see any forms tonight.
Okay, we'll move on to superintendents. Dr. Kunkel, the floor is yours.
Yes, sir. Under my section 9A through D for your approval as a block, and D includes schedules A, C, D, and E. Again, like block as one vote, A through D.
Can we have a first under superintendent reports and recommendations, blocking A through D? A first, please?
Motion.
Mr. Chanel, second?
Second.
Mrs. Hayes? Any discussion from any board members on any of those items? Okay, Mr. Castaner, could you please call the roll?
Mr. Chanel?
Yes.
Mrs. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Kleinfelder?
Yes.
Mrs. Webb?
Yes.
Mr. Van Winkle?
Yes. We'll move on to treasurer's reports and recommendations.
Yep, I'd like to
Mr.
do the same.
Castaner, floor is
I'd like-
yours.
Yeah, I'd like to do the same and block A through G together as one vote.
Okay, can we get a first under treasurer's reports and recommendations? A through G, please?
Motion.
Mrs. Webb, second? Or Mr. Chanel? Second? Mrs. Hayes? Mr. Castaner, could you please call the roll?
Yep, Mr. Chanel?
Yes.
Mrs. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Kleinfelder?
Yes.
Mrs. Webb?
Yes.
Mr. Van Winkle?
Yes. Board comments, we'll start with Mr. Kleinfelder.
All right, you know, I'd just like to say thanks to all the teachers, staff, administrators, everybody that was involved. The report card results are really awesome compared to, you know, the things that have happened the last couple of years. We had 3 failed levies, we're coming out of a pandemic, we had budget cuts, friends and staff lost jobs, and yet we still persevered through all that and got the job done. And to be top in the county, that's a pretty good feather in your cap. I mean, I felt pretty good last night at Butler Tech meeting. Everybody saying, "How'd you guys do that?" You know, I like anytime we beat Lakota in something, they're spending a lot more money than us. It feels good. So I think that you know, is a major achievement for what was taking place the last couple of years. And the focus is the focus. And I know good kids and good parents and all that add to it too. But you know, when you still get the growth measures and things like that that are hard to get, it's quite an accomplishment. So just congratulations, everybody. And I'd like to give a shout out to Larry Hayes, retiring for the 2nd time. He's a custodian. He'll be missed. All right.
Yep. Mrs. Webb,
Going out of order, huh?
I was looking at Mr. Chanel messing
No.
with, he didn't look like he was ready to go.
No, just ditto what Keith said. I was very impressed with the state report card, and I know that we've been through a lot as a district, and people just persevered and have done what's, you know, best for kids, and it's showing, the results are showing. So thank you. And thank you. I know Jake's not here, but thank you, Jake, for putting together that presentation and going over Aaron's Law. And I appreciate kind of people putting their heads together with how best to roll it out too. I think it maybe, hopefully, it's not going to be all gloom and doom like Keith's predicting, and you won't be getting a lot of phone calls, but hopefully it'll be done in a,
It's gonna be a disaster.
we'll see. And yeah, I've known Larry Hayes now for over a decade, and do want to congratulate him on his retirement as well, and wish him the best of luck. So,
Thank you.
that's it.
Mrs. Hayes?
Okay.
Mr. Chanel?
Yeah, kudos to the staff and the kids and the families for the report card outcome. It's awesome thing to see. Yeah, that's all I have.
Okay. Many times over the last 3 or 4 years, Michael Clark from the Journal sends me a text message and wants a quote. And I've always refused to do it because I don't want a single quote coming from me as a board member, because I don't want them to think that that's how the board feels. So I've always kind of reflected that or deflected that to Mr. Conkle. But I did give him one on the recent report card, and he didn't put it in the Journal newspaper. So he will never get another one the next 3 months. But anyway, the quote I sent him was, with the recent state report card, the Ross community should be extremely proud. We have excellent families, students, staff, and leadership. Dr. Kunkel has a remarkable vision and leadership for our district. The recent results of the state report card are one of many indicators that he has our district in a position of strength and continuing to create success for students and making the Ross community a great place to live. Now, I really had to think about what I wanted to send Mr. Clark, but I think as board members, I think it's our responsibility to commend and compliment the treasurer and superintendent, because that's directly who we hire and evaluate. So thinking about the report card, I always think about sports and when I coached. And all the years I coached, when we would lose, I would always take the blame as a coach. And I think good leaders do that. We've had a lot of negativity the last 3 or 4 years. And a lot of us, and including Dr. Kunkel and upper administration, have taken a lot of heat, which is okay. As a leader, you have to have that kind of skin and thick skin. But so when there's success, I looked at what Dr. Kunkel sent out to the staff, and he did the right thing, which is the kudos belong to the staff, the teachers, and the kids and the families. But I think as a board member, we're not doing our job if we don't give kudos to the right people as well. So, you know, the elder report card I'll use as an example, because I know that's been a hot topic on the board level and even with Dr. Kunkel. You know, the teacher-based teams, which I have no idea what the hell that is. I have no clue. And I don't need to know. It's not my business. That's in the weeds. But I know it's something that Dr. Kunkel, Jake Richards, Tracy Wright, Adam Hall, the teachers all come together to say, this is what we're going to try and see if it works. And it worked. And as a coach, you have assistant coaches, you have weight trainers, you have student assistants. You put together a game plan, and when you win, it started there, but you give the credit to the kids, the players. So, you know, I know a majority of us think this way, but Dr. Kunkel and Jake and everybody, I mean, I think it's kudos to what you guys have done, because there's a lot of negativity. And in coaching, you take a lot of heat when you're in a losing streak. And we were in a losing streak for a few years. And then we kind of got out of that losing streak a little bit, and the results have proven that we still are who we are, but it's because there's a lot of good work that's going on. So I wanted to publicly thank the right people. I think it's our job to do that as a board. And so I really do appreciate that. You know, the RIS. Do we do RIS? I mean, the results of what's happening at that building, although many people probably didn't want to do it, in the community, why are you doing this? We did it. Look at that building, it's thriving. You know, it's the leadership of Rettinger and your vision and everybody else on the board. But I wanted to make sure I publicly said that, because there's just not enough people that do that. And so, you know, great job. I'm not gonna be on here long. I was talking to a lady, I'm not gonna call her out. Got 3 more meetings, but I think the district's in great, is it 3, Andy? 3. Got 3 more meetings on the school board, but I really am happy that at least, you know, the district's in good hands with your recent contract, so.
Thank you, that means a lot.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, with that being said, do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting? First, please,
Motion.
Mr. Chanel, second,
Second.
Ms. Hayes? Mr. Castaneda, go ahead.
Mr. Chanel,
Yes.
Mrs. Hayes,
Yes.
Mr. Kleinfelder,
Yes.
Mrs. Webb,
Yes.
Mr. Van Winkle.
Yes.